These are the books from each genre that I would recommend to a beginner reader. For dark romance, I would recommend starting with the Devil's Night series. Each book follows past and present timelines of one of the Four Horsemen, a group of morally gray friends from high school. And the books get darker as you go through them, so it gives you a chance to slowly dip your toes into the world of dark romance. You could also start with the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. Each book is a different dark Disney retelling. I've only read these two. This one's a Peter Pan retelling, and this one is The Little Mermaid. I would say that the books in this series are the least dark of any of the books that I'm going to recommend, so if you're nervous about dark romance and you really don't know if it's something that you're gonna like, I would start here. And lastly, I would recommend the Maid series. These are dark mafia romances. Lots of weapons, lots of unaliving. These are a very good intro to the touch her and you die trope. For fantasy romance, I would recommend that you start with either the Powerless trilogy or the Crimson Moth duology. Both of these sets of books have pretty elementary writing, and so things are explained very well. It makes the magic systems really easy to understand, the political systems really easy to understand, and they also both take place in smaller worlds. You're not gonna have to flip back and forth to the map at the beginning of this book a million times. For contemporary romance, I would recommend starting with anything by Elsie Silver. Her books are all so fun and so bingeable with simple characters, great chemistry. She does sprinkle in some harsher topics like PTSD or family trauma, but for the most part, her books stay light and fun. For thrillers, I would highly recommend starting with the Natural series. This series follows a group of teenagers who get recruited by the FBI to help them solve cold cases, and each book follows a different cold case that they are assigned to. Simple writing. The only downside to starting with this series is that there is truly nothing else out there like it. I also think that anything by Frida McFadden or Megan Lawley are really beginner friendly. They're short, they're entertaining, they're easy to follow, and the crime/stories that you are following in these books are like on the lighter side of thrillers. I've read some thrillers that have literally psychologically traumatized me, and these ones aren't going to do that. They're still going to give you that scary suspense that you get in the thriller, and then you can decide if you want to go deeper into the genre from there. For historical fiction, I would recommend starting with Kristen Hanna. I think Kristen Hanna is the GOAT of historical fiction. She writes historical fiction in a way that makes it so entertaining. You don't feel like you are reading a history textbook. You literally feel like you are living in the times. And lastly, for science fiction, I'm going to recommend my favorite science fiction book of all time. I think that Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir is a great beginner book because I don't think that you need to understand the science and math in this book in order to understand the story. It's not like some other science fiction authors that I've read, like for example, Blake Crouch, where I feel like if you don't understand the science behind the story, you're not going to understand the story at all. This is not like that. There's a lot of math in this book. I understood maybe 10% of it, and I still took what I needed to from this.